WandaVision tá sendo esse sucesso que tá chocando muita gente que não tá tão acostumada com essa abordagem um pouco mais conceitual da Marvel. Mas a série trouxe algo tão original e tão único, exatamente fazendo uma introdução para cada um dos seus episódios. E quem fez parte de toda essa nova abordagem da Marvel, é claro, foi o casal Lopez. Eu tô falando aqui da Kristen Anderson Lopez e do Robert Lopez, que vocês conhecem muito bem como aquele casal vencedor do Oscar pela canção original de Frozen intitulada Let It Go. Pois é, eles assinam a música tema de cada um dos capítulos de WandaVision e eles bateram um papo comigo aqui, a Rafa Gomes do CinePOP, e contaram detalhes não apenas da série, mas de toda essa produção lindíssima que a gente vê a cada novo episódio. Então confere aí esse bate-papo. And hi Robert, thank you very much for being here with me. I wanted to know from you what other TV shows were important for you as inspiration while creating the theme songs for each and every episode of WandaVision. Because we see a little bit of Bewitched, we also see a little bit of I Love Lucy, but at the same time, every theme song is very original. So this is what I wanted to know. What other TV references did you guys have to create this original piece for every episode?
We watched them all.
Yeah, I grew up watching, if you were sick, I grew up in the New York area in the 70s and 80s. And if you were sick, you got to turn on Channel 5 or Channel 11 and it would just do sitcoms all day long. You'd start with I Love Lucy and My Three Sons, and there was a crazy one called Flipper about a dolphin.
Love that one.
And then Mr. Ed, and then as the day got later, you'd go through the decades. Then you'd get into like the 60s with Mary Tyler Moore's show, and by 3 o'clock you were into the 70s with the Brady Bunch and the Partridge Family and Gilligan's Island. Then you'd stop and have dinner, and then at night you'd watch like an 80s sitcom like Growing Pains or Family Ties. So these hours that you would spend downloading story that your parents were so worried about you just watching TV are actually the thing that leads you to be a storyteller who gets to write theme songs when you grow up.
And there were some gaps in my knowledge. I didn't know the Partridge Family show. I never watched that one growing up, so I got a chance to live it now. And then there was a show I don't think either of us knew called I Married Joan. And it's just about a guy that married Joan. And it's got a great song that we listened to too. But it's very important to us to write something original and to not be hacks brought into to parody some particular song. And
we really wanted to write songs that evoked all of the iconic songs of a decade, not just one in particular.
You two did an amazing job, not only with Frozen, but also with the Coco soundtrack. And now you guys are responsible to create this very original piece for every episode of WandaVision. Can you tell me a little bit about this experience, about your involvement with the project, and why you guys were the experts chosen to be behind this whole work, why you're bringing the right tone to WandaVision through its music?
Yes, huge amounts of secrecy. I've never had to have so many passwords and passcodes and just to get to read a script or even to turn work in. To turn each song in involved like having a whole new program on your computer.
Yeah, and we weren't allowed to write the word WandaVision either. It had to be Big Red. That was the right. Secret code word for the project.
That's right. As for one of the reasons we got to be part of this is that Matt Shakman, who directed the piece, and Bobby went to college together and actually worked on a production of The Tempest that took place in the Yale swimming pool. Matt directed The Tempest, and Bobby wrote the music. Some of the songs, like Ariel's song, was turned into a musical piece. So they had worked together. We also worked with Matt's wife, Maggie Malone, who was at Disney Development. And we had also worked with Jack Schaefer, who wrote the script for the Frozen Olaf's Christmas special with my sister. So we had all these connections to the creators already. And the minute that Matt called and said, I really want you guys to do it, we just said yes.
Yeah, I mean, part of it was we would have loved to do a Marvel project, but no one. Why would they ever have called us? They don't really need a musical number at all. And then, but then because I mean, the fact that this project is so unique and so different for Marvel and for Disney, and for television, I guess that's why they had to call us, because it just made sense to do something crazy.
Every episode has a new intro. How difficult is it to create something that maintains the show identity while also fitting in the new TV area that is going to be introduced to us in the episode that is going to be broadcasted?
And that's what I immediately thought. Because usually a show has one theme song, and the reason it has a theme song is to unify it and make sure that people know, oh, this is that show. But this WandaVision has a number of different opening themes. So what we decided was they'll all be different songs, and they'll all be in different styles of the different decades of American television, but that we would put one phrase, the hook of the whole thing, and find a way to put it in each song differently. And so that we picked out 4 notes to put WandaVision to. And it goes, WandaVision. And that's not the only way we set that word, but it's in every single one. It's at the end of the first song. It's all the way throughout the second song. It's at the end of the third song. It's almost like an Easter egg hidden in each song. You got to pick out where's that theme.
And it's really important that the vision is a tritone, which is, it's different than vision. Right, that's like major. Vision is like something's up, something's weird, which sort of sets the tone for the whole series.
And they lived happily ever after.
Oh, this is gonna be a gas!
And as we were talking before, there are many TV intros for the show. Which one was the most challenging one to create?
Well, without giving too much away, I would say that's a tough one, because you've only seen 3 of them. I'm gonna say number 6. I'm gonna say number 6 was the hardest, because it was from an era that we were in college and not watching television, so we weren't as immersed in in American television in that decade, because we were too busy, pretending to be adults. Right, trying to get jobs and make our parents proud.
And this is my last question for you two. What was the most fascinating aspect of the TV show for you two? What did you like the most?
I think it's the visuals are incredible, and the way that Matt and Jack, they used lenses from the 50s. They used a sitcom audience, and the laugh track is so weird, and it's so unsettling. I think that's half of it.
I'm going to say, the attention to visual detail. I'm sort of obsessed. We watched it this weekend again, the first 2. I'm obsessed with Elizabeth Olsen's hair alone. The costumes it's just a visual feast. But I'm also I have great admiration for Kevin Feige and the out-of-the-box storytelling. I really think he's taking storytelling to a new level, and that's a really exciting thing to see.
I think something's wrong here.
Wanda, can you read me? Who's doing this to you?
Are you here to help us? This is our home.
Then let's fight for it.